All right. Testing. We should be live, man. We should be live here. Let me make sure I don't have this too loud. We are live, man. We're here at the quick live stream. All right. Detroit Sports Talk. How you doing? Hey, man. I was going to do a video for this. And then I was like, well, maybe I should just wait for tomorrow. But I was like, nah, let's go live. I got about, 20 minutes here, 25 minutes. And it's a great transition because right after this show ends, we're going to be moving over to the NFC North Roundtable, man. So join us 6 p.m. Eastern time, roughly. We'll be starting that live stream. I'm hosting it. We talk about all of the NFC North games from this past weekend. So join me over there, man. NFC North Roundtable. Also, this live stream is being brought to you by BetUS. So before we get too far into this live stream, before we start diving into these injury reports, man, I got to give a shout out. Use that code YouTube150, 150% deposit match, first deposit, 125% on your next two deposits up to $2,000. I use this for Lions Packers for Michigan, Ohio State. Ended up making some good money on that, man. I only bet 10. I don't bet like crazy, but I be throwing these little bets, and sometimes they hit, and that's all it takes. That's all it takes, and it hit, man. Michigan handled business. I think the interesting line here is Lions over, I just clicked the under. Hold up, don't do that. Lions over 51.5 against the Packers, man. I like the over in this game. You guys know I'm an under type of guy, but I really like the over in this game. So if I bet 20, I can win 18, nearly doubling it up there. So I'm going to bet the over for this one. I think we go over in points. YouTube 150, that's the code. Now, let's get to what you all are here for. That was terrible English, and that is the injury report. Now, I will also point out that I did go live at 4 p.m. Eastern time on Bleacher Report. So if you have the app, open it up, bam. If you want to check it out, I went about 35 minutes. I went a little over just to talk about the whole injury situation in general. Not just tomorrow, but really the idea that the Detroit Lions right now with their injuries are in a spot. And by the way, give me a 1 if y'all can hear the beat. Do y'all hear a beat in the background? I kind of forgot that was playing. I can't hear it, so let me know. But the Lions are basically, the injuries are going to catch up to them. And I did a whole show kind of breaking that down, whether or not that's legit. Is there context to that? Let's add context to that. So just throwing that out there. If you guys want a more in-depth breakdown of all of this with clips. Okay, no beat. Okay, cool. That works. Good look. All right, so let's dive into this, man. So the Lions, good look, Ed. I see y'all. So Lions dropped this, although there is a 1, so y'all can't hear it. Hold up. I don't know what I said. All right, I turned it off, so it shouldn't be on. Regardless, it should not be on. Over here, man, so here's the Lions injury report. They just dropped this. Big thing there is, well, I guess the fact that Carlton Davis is not listed as out. Now, he was full participation. I'm pretty optimistic Carlton Davis is probably going to go in this game. Manuel Mosley's also not listed. He could be on inactives. Who knows? That happened last week. But my man Phantom, get out of the chat. Oh, my Phantom, come on, bro. Come on, man. What are we doing? What are we doing, Phantom? If you're in the chat right now, you should be disappointed in yourself. Disappointed in this. This is an abomination. Are you kidding me? Anyway, Taylor Decker's out for this game. Bet Dan's going to start. I don't think that they're going to flip tackle spots. Ben Johnson didn't talk about it. It's possible. I don't think he will. No Levi, no Pascal, no DJ Reader. So the entire defensive line is completely broken down. Now, I do have this graphic because y'all are asking, like, who's going to play defensive line. So I do have this graphic, and I'm going to show it because I think maybe it gives you an idea of who might play. Number 1, Aleem McNeil, his flexibility. My mic sound crazy? Let me know. But it's crackling. I probably went too crazy right there. All right, give me a second. Let me refresh, and we'll hit this. Give me. Be good. We should be good. Well, we might not be good, actually. Let me change my mic output. That gets me. All right, now we should be good. Y'all know how it do. Whenever the output changes, it messes up the mic. All right. I'm going to go to this. I put a little graphic together, and that was for the earlier show that we did. Sweet. It's good. All right. This was for the earlier show that I did today, just to kind of show the defensive line, the kind of setup that we're dealing with right now. And I'll still show the same graphic. I won't break it down like I did on Bleacher Report. If you want the full breakdown, you can check that out. But if we look at it, one, Aleem McNeil. Aleem McNeil can play nose tackle, so we can kind of step him into the DJ Reader role. That's definitely on the table. If the Lions want to go that direction, they could definitely do that, so keep an eye on that. That could allow Pat O'Connor. Now, we know Pat O'Connor's put a lot of nose for us, but it could allow Pat O'Connor to kick outside a little bit wider. I think in some ways he's actually looked better out wider, but I think where they like him at nose is he's so explosive in terms of his get off. He's so quick off the line that he does create a little bit of knockback and a little bit of penetration immediately. So in some way, I don't think he handles single blocks or double teams that well. They may prefer to just leave Pat O'Connor at nose tackle. So if that's the case, then maybe they don't have to move. Aleem. But moving Aleem or not moving Aleem, we're not even talking about depth here. We're just talking who's playing next to Aleem McNeil. And obviously Broderick Martin. Now, Broderick Martin's playing. Broderick Martin played 2 snaps last week. I didn't even know he played him. I don't know if y'all know or not. I have the clips, but he played 2 snaps last week. They were both pass downs. One was a complete pass play, and he got off the line pretty well, ran a little loop, and then the other play was a screen. It was a big screen that they broke. So he played 2 plays. So he's at least getting snaps. We just don't know what it's going to look like. And then Chris Smith. Now, this is the one I would circle because Chris Smith did play 10 snaps last time we played Green Bay. I think he did some good. He does play nose tackle for us, so he gives us a little bit of flexibility there. I think that if they roll Martin at nose, and then it's just Aleem McNeil, that would make sense because then he can kick Aleem McNeil, kind of leave him in his role and just kind of let those two work together. If they go with and push Aleem inside, they may put Pat O'Connor next to him at defensive tackle just for the size and kind of work with those two. And then outside of that, we have Adams. Now, Adams is kind of the wild card here because we bring in Miles Adams. Don't know how fast he's going to play. I don't know if he's going to play this week. But if he does, which is on the table, he and Jonah Williams could be up this week because I think that both those signings were like, hey, help us right now. We need help right now. Both these guys, you kind of know what they're going to bring to the table. Adams brings some pass rush juice. He's also got the ability to kind of play like more of a 3-tech. So you could just move Aleem to nose, let Adams play alongside of him more naturally than what a guy like Pat O'Connor would do. And I think that would make a ton of sense. Then when you go to rotation, you could put Martin with a guy like Pat O'Connor, or you could just have a guy like, Pat O'Connor play nose tackle, then maybe you get Chris Smith in the mix and you push out Pat O'Connor. So I think you get some flexibility there, but I would keep an eye on Miles Adams from Seattle playing. I don't know that he will, but I would like to see it. But Chris Smith is a pure nose tackle. He doesn't have a lot of length. He's not like a finisher necessarily, but he's very stout. He's probably the most stout nose tackle that we have, right? He's not like I say, he's not a big playmaker. He's not much of a pass rusher either, but he's very stout. He handles single blocks well. He's a little bit slow reacting to the scheme sometimes, but he's probably the guy that can handle more single blocks better than most of these other guys from what we've seen outside of Martin. I think Martin in the 2 snaps looked explosive. I just don't know what he's going to bring. So it's interesting. It's very interesting. But my guess would be Adams is active this game, and Aleem McNeil starts. My guess would be Aleem McNeil starts with Adams. I don't even know if Adams is going to start. It's a tough one. Probably O'Connor. He'll probably start with Pat O'Connor, and then I think Adams will mix in, and then Broderick Martin will probably be the backup nose tackle, and then Pat O'Connor will kind of mix in with that too. Or maybe the backup will be Miles Adams and Broderick Martin, and Pat O'Connor and Aleem will start. Actually, that's probably my guess. Aleem and Pat O'Connor will probably start together. Backup will probably be Miles Adams and Broderick Martin as long as Adams is up this week. And then at defensive end, I put it right here. We, of course, have Za'Darius. Muhammad's been more of like the pass rush specialist for us. He has played the run. He's just not great against it. And then Jonah Williams, if he's up this week, which, again, he's another guy that, unless he's hurt, like, we'll see how fast they're able to bring these guys along, but he can play the run. He's pretty effective against the run. He's pretty scheme diverse as well. So Jonah Williams being up would help us a little bit there. Remember, on the practice squad, we do have some dudes like that we know of, specifically Agude for the role. He could step in the defensive end for us. You also have Isaiah Thomas, who's already been up a little bit this year. We initially had signed him, and then Isaac Ukwu as well. Like, the Lions have guys that they're familiar with on the practice squad. So if these guys aren't ready, they'll probably just dip to the practice squad, grab a guy like Chris Smith, because keep in mind Chris Smith is on the practice squad, and they'll probably just roll with those dudes. But my sense is that both Adams and Williams in some fashion could be ready this week. Like, I could see either of these guys playing this week. I think that's maybe not a ton, but I could see either one being up this week. Muhammad's been a big surprise. I'll have some clips. I can show some clips here in a second. And also, I missed the other name there. Muhammad's been a big surprise. And Trevor Nowaski. Now, Nowaski's going to be huge. I expect him to play Sam. And I do think that you can make the case Nowaski's looked the best in that role against the run. He essentially did nothing the entire game as a pass rusher. Nowaski probably had like 20 pass rush snaps, did the exact same thing every pass rush snap, and had zero pressure at all on their left tackle Braxton Jones for most of the game. That may have been the worst pass rush outing I've ever seen, I'm going to be honest. But it's understandable. Like, we usually don't get much pass rush in that spot anyways. He definitely could drop into coverage. He's definitely got good body control when he's in space like that, and he handles tight ends adequately. Like, I think he's adequate at handling tight ends. He's probably going to have to carry a lot of that burden going forward for us. But I'm optimistic. I think Nowaski's a good player. I just don't think he's much of a pass rusher. But hopefully he brings us something because he's got some juice off the line. He just doesn't really have anything that he goes to, and he has like no walk back at all. So there's not really much of any kind of move he seemingly goes to as a pass rusher. It just stalls out immediately on him. But maybe with worse tackle play, maybe it'll look better. I don't know. With passing, how about take snaps with Za'Darius? Ukwu is also good. Jamal Adams plays safety, linebacker plays. So I think we're hearing they're repping him at linebacker. I think he's going to play the third safety role. I think he'll be in nickel and dime sets down the road. I don't think he's going to play soon. I really don't. Yes, David Long has played the last couple weeks. Here's what I think is going to happen with this rotation. And I break it down a little bit more, but I think that we are bringing in the will linebacker in, forget his name. Oh, Quan Alexander. I think Quan Alexander is going to start taking snaps from David Long. I think that's on the table. I don't think David Long's played fantastic against the run. I think he's left some things definitely out there. So I think that they're going to start having, I could be wrong on that. I could be completely wrong. I might be wrong. I don't know. My guess is, though, from what I've seen, I think that they're going to bring in Quan Alexander, and he's going to start taking snaps from David Long, and we'll kind of see how that shakes out by the time Alex gets back toward the end of the year, that kind of thing, because Quan recently, this year with Denver, has played the run pretty well, and I don't think Long has a lot of similar negatives to a guy like Quan Alexander, but I think that Long hasn't brought enough of the upside, in my opinion. They may feel completely different. In my opinion, I don't think he's brought enough of the plus plays to kind of minimize what the downsides are. Like, he's done a little bit. He could split gaps. He had a nice little play against the screen last week, but I don't think there's been enough against the run. So I think Quan's going to start taking snaps. I think Trevor's going to play a ton, and I think that Jamal Adams is going to slowly work his way into the iffy type of role, that third safety type of role. And I think that what the Lions, my guess is, repping at linebacker, is that, hey, we go to sub package, we're not even going to put two backers on the field. Maybe we have one, maybe it's Jack, but we want a guy that can match tight ends and backs. Because I don't think that Jamal Adams is a matchup piece on receivers, but I think that he thrives when he's sitting underneath. I don't want him at free safety, or I don't want him at a split safety alignment. I want him down near the box. So I think the Lions are working him at linebacker to give him as many looks down near the box as they can. I don't think he'll be playing like first down as a linebacker. It'd be kind of fun to see, but I don't think we'll see that. But definitely on like sub packages, I think he'll have a very niche role. Outside of that, I think the defensive linemen are kind of going to help us in the meantime. Hopefully we get Josh and Levi back, and that'll be it. And then we may just go back to what we're normally doing. And then at linebacker, I think, like I said, I think there's a real battle that's going to kind of emerge here between Quan and between David Long. Now, that being said, I do like what I've seen from Ben, but they've kind of moved off of that a little bit. I like him, though, so we'll see if anything goes down there. And then also you have at linebacker Ezekiel Turner, who's specifically been the sub-package player. And I like Ezekiel Turner a lot. I think he's done a good job in coverage for us. I don't think he's like put him on a tight end, take him out of the game. He's not that, but I think he's done a nice job. He's been very sound. He flies around with ease, and he has a really good flow for zone coverage. But I think that's what's going to happen. I think linebacker's up for grabs until Alex comes back. I think it's going to start to come into play. That rotation is going to continue. And maybe they give him some looks on the line. I don't think he'll be great at it, but if they're like, hey, nobody is really playing to run that well anyway in the sandbacker role, let's just put somebody down there. Maybe they're like, hey, put David Long down there, and that guy can just shoot gaps and blitz like crazy. I don't know. I mean, that's the thing that David Long does add. He has the juice to go blitz. So maybe they start mixing that up, but I think there's a competition there. But I do think that I do think Jamal's going to have a real niche role, but it's going to be valuable through the playoffs. Like some of these other guys, outside of Quan, right? I don't think the D lineman will be really seeing in the playoffs. Hopefully we're healthy. Maybe Quan, we'll see how that shakes out. But I think that Jamal Adams is legitimately going to have a role in the playoffs, and as we go through the end of the season, I think he's going to actually have a spot, and he's going to be valuable in like every game we play. Maybe some more than others, but I think he's going to be valuable every week as we go forward. But I think it might take a minute. I don't think it's going to happen immediately, because I'm working who'll play with Jack Campbell between. Yeah, I think this week we'll see a rotation. I think if I had to guess that soon we'll see Quan Alexander kind of take over the bulk of that. I still wouldn't have an issue with getting Ben Neiman more looks there, but for what the Lions are clearly looking for stylistically, of those, scrape kind of guy, sideline to sideline, that type of being slippery, maybe bring a little bit of a blitz element, and a guy that's just kind of sounded zone, because here's the thing, neither of those guys are like matchup pieces in coverage, and I think David Long hasn't made enough plays in coverage where Quan is at least sound in zone, and in man, he can cover the very basic routes. I think that he'll start to compete, and he might take that role. But look at what Jack Campbell's done. This guy has an 18.8% run stop rate, which is literally top in the NFL by a margin. He's been ridiculous. So I thought I would just point that. That's kind of how I think it's going to shake out, but I could be wrong with that linebacker thing. I think that's how it's going to go. Now, that being said, I see y'all throwing in game scores. We're going to move over in a few minutes here to NFC North Roundtable. So join me, man. We're on YouTube. We go live every Wednesday. We're trying to expand the show. So, those shows doing better allows us opportunities to expand, and I'm hosting it now. I appreciate y'all showing up for those. AG will have to coach his butt off. He's going to have to be on one. Now, AG was on one last time. And if you guys didn't see my preview this morning, I know it's an hour and 45 minutes, but you can skip through it. It was a lot of good. A lot of it was legit content. It wasn't just blabbing, to be honest. Well, some of it was, but not all of it. Most of it was like legit content. We were breaking it down. Offense, defense. I had 7 minutes worth of clips. So if you want to see like my full breakdown, my thoughts on this game, check that out. But yeah, AG was in his bag last time. I think it was the first time I was really like, dang, AG, what are we doing out here? You know what I mean? Like the coverage in certain spots and the way that he was playing the match coverage and like, we're not giving up no big plays. I would also keep in mind this. I saw the stat today. Jordan Love was 3 of 10 when we blitzed him last time. And now we didn't blitz him much at all. And I think that's something to keep an eye on is that, especially on first down, you may see a much less aggressive Aaron Glenn. We'll see if that changes his approach, but he may continue that, quarters coverage, that kind of thing. But when he did blitz, especially on third down, so, cover one blitz, and Lions have been one of the best teams in football. There was a stat that came out today, Lions second most man rate, but fourth in terms of contested target rate. Is that what it is? No, tight window throw rate allowed in football. We may see that kind of continue as we get into this game. That's my guess. That interview he's been talking with Quan and getting him ready for this week. Look at that. That's fire. That's fire. Hey, that's good. I appreciate you, Donnie. That's a good look. I'm fired up. I think Quan's going to take the role. You know what I mean? It's no hate to the other guy, and we need the depth. But I think he's going to take the role. I think that's where this is going to go. Okay, so that's that. I want to quickly touch on the Packers side of things. And if I missed anything, man, throw it in the chat. Let me know if there was something I moved over there that I shouldn't have. This Lions IR player is too much. I don't think it's that bad. All right. Now, I'm not going to do a full breakdown, but I don't think it's that bad, to be honest. I think it's a little bit, it's not good, but I think it is a little bit overblown from some of the national perspective of how it's like going to cripple team. We do a full breakdown on Bleacher Report, so I won't do that here. But essentially, this is what our IR is. And I left some of the guys that literally, like, I didn't put Antoine Green on here. This is our IR, right? And if you look at it, hasn't played 2 games, been about half the season, really didn't play, played a little bit. Hopefully back for the end of the playoff stretch. We'll be out this year. We'll see. Out this year, hasn't played, and then he's a role piece. So I think we can we're going to be okay. My sense is we're going to be okay. I don't think Derek Barnes is going to return. I think he's going to be out for the year. Maybe he's hoping for Super Bowl, I think, right? I don't think he'll return, though, unfortunately. I would love to see it because I think that's one of the toughest players for us to replace. We're kind of struggling to figure out how we want to play that. We may have to be a little unique, and maybe that's where we get crafty with David Long, and we're like, hey, put him on the line a little bit because Jalen was doing that at times. We get a little crafty with it, but yeah, I don't think he's going to return. I would love it, though. I would love it, though. Hey, we got the Barnes jersey there. We repping. You know what I mean? We repping. Okay, on the Packers side, they did just drop their injury report, so I just want to tap on this, and, we'll hit this more tomorrow when we do our pregame. But before we move, Packers injury report. The big thing here was offense make the difference. I love it. No, I love it. And, we'll see. The Skipper thing is going to be big, but I think Skipper's played pretty well recently, so I think we'll be okay. The Packers created the Goff had over 3 seconds from snap to pressure last time we played this team, which was the lowest amount he's had all season. So keep that in mind. Like, we did a good job protecting him. Now, that could change things massively, and also we ran the ball a lot, but just keep that in mind. So Jair's out, Ballantyne's out, Edgerrin Cooper's out, so I would expect to see a lot of Eric Wilson. I'm going to ask our Packers guy who got that. Romeo Doubs is actually out, so Jaden Reed, Christian Watson, who's become their one. And then outside of that, the offensive line looks like it's going to be okay. Aaron Mosby's going to play, I think. I think he's going to play, and he's kind of risen recently. Same thing with Colby Wooden. But their offensive line is pretty much going to play. It's just Jair's out, so I'd expect Nixon to continue to play out wide, maybe opposite of Eric Stokes. Evan Williams is back, so they can put Bullard in the slot. Ballantyne's also out, so they don't have really a lot of options there. And then with Edgerrin Cooper, I think that's a big one because the stat was last time we played this team, Edgerrin Cooper, they matched our personnel every time. If we played 12, they were going to match in base personnel every time. And that was according to pro.nfl. So I think that's a huge point that the Lions, who played 57% of the time heavy personnel, could absolutely lean into that again this week because the Packers match it every time. They're not one of those teams that were kind of like, we don't want to do that because we're in this situation. I didn't think Chicago did. So there's that. I just point that out with Edgerrin Cooper. That could be the big thing there. And, I think Eric Wilson's a good player. Eric, Cooper's been a little up and down, but they definitely could run at those guys. I think you get up to those guys. So, yeah, that's the injury report for their side there. KV Alto with the gifted memberships. Right before we got here, KV Alto. Man, I appreciate you, man. Can we get some birthday cakes in the chat for KV Alto, man? Shout out to everybody that's joining, man. We just want to do a quick on-the-fly live stream, but we here. I gotta kind of fly through this. I love all these teams talking crap now that our team is half fired. Man, everybody, just let them talk, bro. Let them talk, man. They haters. They haters. You know what I mean? Everybody wants Kirby Joseph, so everybody hates Kirby Joseph. It is what it is. Sorry, they'll see this depth dudes to hang. I hope not. That's the one thing I can't project is whether or not he's going to get hurt. But as a player, I was surprised he's available. I think that dude legitimately has some game. And I think when you look at it, like, that dude can make a difference if in the right role. You just have to find what that niche role is going to be. And I think as a sub-package third safety, as we get later, I don't think he's going to play soon. As we get later, I could be wrong, though. I'd love to see it. I think he's going to be impactful, as long as he's healthy, of course. Jair Alexander being out is big. That seems big. He didn't play last time, though, either. So, yeah, I mean, not to say it wasn't big, but, yeah, I mean, that guy's always banged up, unfortunately, for them. In my opinion, this game will come down to how good Skipper does. Skipper did well last week. Yeah, he's gonna have his hands full this week, but I'm confident. I believe in you, Skipper. I believe in you, man. All right, chat, I got to move on. DT fan, man, I appreciate you. Shout out to KV Alto, man. I appreciate you joining. Join me over. I'm moving over to the NFC North Roundtable, and I will see you also tomorrow. We're going to do a pregame show at some point, and then also be here live to react to the game, man. So join me over there. Show some support for the Lions. I'll be hosting that show, and if I see you in the chat, I'll give you a quick wave, man, because I'll see you all in there. Yeah, I'm going to leave it there, man. Appreciate y'all joining. Hold up. Let me give a shout out to BetUS on the way out. YouTube 150. That's the code. Whoa, can we get it back on the screen? Bam, yeah. YouTube 150, that's the code. And we're out, man. I'll see y'all over there. Appreciate you, KB Alto. Shout out to Bray in here. I appreciate you. Yeah.